He was always such a good boy. Maybe a little high energy, but you know, most boys are.
I first met Felipe and became good friends with him. We started coming to this church about the same time.
The same Felipe you see at the youth conference is the same Felipe all the time. Really high energy. It actually gets kind of annoying.
Yeah, we worked on a couple youth conferences together. Yeah, well, we dated.
Felipe's girlfriend? Dude, he dumped her hard.
Yeah, sure, I don't think anyone's questioning his heart for ministry, but someone's got to look out for his best interest. Yeah, he's an international icon. He's huge in places like Brazil and Tanzania. In fact, he's very marketable.
It was difficult for all of us when youth conference was canceled a couple years back. But I don't think any of us took it as hard as Felipe did. And he cried himself to sleep for weeks afterwards.
Oh, yeah. When youth conference was canceled, he was in a bad place.
The conference was all Felipe cared about. Of course he took it hard.
The thing about Felipe is that Felipe is youth conference. And so the youth conference rules are more than just suggestions for a couple days to him. He holds himself to a higher standard. And a lot of people might not understand this, but for Felipe, these rules are the core of how he lives his life.
For me personally, it was heart-wrenching to watch. Here's a guy I've worked with in youth conferences past, and we've built this relationship, and then to see him spiral out of control.
I don't think he was really trying to break the rules. He just gets caught up in the moment sometimes.
Felipe loves that t-shirt cannon. He practices with it all the time. Practice makes perfect, and he wants to be at the very top of his game to perform like he needs to for youth conference.
If you really knew Felipe, you know it was really a cry for help.
I'm sure he would just call it a lack of judgment, but rules are rules. And this is rule number 1, dress appropriately to all events. You might be thinking to yourself, he's a fox. Does it matter anyway? But it does.
The first year youth conference was canceled, we still had Instagram followers and social media followers to keep after, so he came out and he performed like a pro.
By year 2 of the cancellations, you could really see that the burden was starting to wear on Felipe. He wasn't who he used to be. He wasn't as engaged anymore. I think you could say that he had lost his first love. And this led him to start breaking rule number 2, which is to be punctual and present to all events.
It's not his fault that he met some friends that got him caught up in some bad things.
Oh, I heard all about it. Big party, fancy cars. The pandas were there?
Yeah, that was a classic wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, I work with a lot of mascots in the industry. They all say those pandas, they're bad news. They're bad people.
I don't think it was an iron sharpening iron relationship.
I had just gone back from school and I went to turn on the news and there's Felipe and my phone was blowing up and I was like, what is going on?
By this point, he was breaking rule number 3, which is no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. We all just braced ourselves for whatever was coming next.
We all knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time.
Okay, come on, guys. It was during COVID. You know, everyone was social distancing, okay? You know, 15 days to slow the spread, 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Sure, it was COVID, but it is rule number 4. Don't be alone in an isolated area.
This isn't the Felipe I knew. We planned a future together. And once he gave up on that, I'm not surprised where it led him.
Everyone has their breaking point. You get told what to do so many times for so many years. Eventually, you tell yourself what to do.
Felipe was ruining his testimony. He went as far as to break the next rule to respect and obey all authority.
Felipe is a giver. Constantly giving out t-shirts, blowing out confetti. He gives and he gives and he gives and he gives. And the one time he takes a little bit for himself, everyone just wants to jump on his back.
It seemed hopeless, but it's always darkest before the dawn. It's just been such an encouragement to see where Felipe was and where he is now. He's back in church. He's being accountable.
I know he's made some unfortunate decisions, but we could forgive him and let him try again.
Felipe's turning his life around, and people love a comeback story.
All I can say is it has been so overwhelmingly joyful to see his journey of grace and how he just turned and came back into full assurance. And man, it's just been awesome to watch.
Yeah, Felipe's back. A lot of people say that's a good thing.
Are we getting back together? No, probably not. Wait, did he say something about that?
Felipe had really started to turn his life around. He was the prodigal sheep, but a fox.
Where does it go from here? Where doesn't he go from here? The sky's the limit. This guy can do anything.